Today, we're diving into a really profound text called the Paramatma Sandarbha. You can think of it as this incredible, detailed map of reality, one that doesn't just show us the universe, but our own place in it, and the ultimate source of absolutely everything.
You know, these are the big questions, right? Who am I? Where did I come from? What am I even doing here? We all wrestle with these. They're kind of at the heart of what it means to be human. But what if there was a system designed to answer them?
Well, it turns out there is. A brilliant philosopher from the 16th century named Jiva Goswami wrote this masterpiece, the Paramatma Sandarbha, to do exactly that, to give us a clear, systematic framework for tackling these massive questions.
So here's our game plan for unpacking this amazing work. We're going to start with the big picture, the overall map of reality. Then we'll zoom right in on the self. After that, we'll look at the material world and this thing called Maya. Then we'll identify the supreme source of it all, and finally explore the path to true liberation.
Okay, let's jump in. First up, the foundational framework. This text presents all of reality as this really cohesive system with three main parts. You, the individual conscious self, the material world we all experience, and the supreme source that both of them come from. Getting a handle on this map is step one.
And the most logical place to start on any map is, well, with you. The text doesn't start with some far-off abstract idea. It starts right here with the self, or more specifically, the eternal conscious being that you truly are.
The term the text uses is jiva. This is defined as an eternal, conscious, sort of atomic unit of reality. The core idea here is that you aren't your body, which changes, or your mind, which is always flickering. You are an eternal spark, a part of the ultimate reality, yet always your own distinct self.
And when we break down the nature of the self, or Atma, it's fascinating. It has inherent qualities. It's conscious and self-luminous, meaning it doesn't need an outside light to be aware. It has the ability to know things, and the ability to act. It's like the unchanging witness, the knower of the field, that watches your body go from birth to old age to death, but it never actually changes. And this is key. It's eternally distinct from, but also connected to, the Supreme.
This is such a brilliant analogy to make the point. Think about it. The moon itself doesn't actually get bigger or smaller, right? We just see different phases of it. In the same way, the soul, the Atma, is constant. It's the body that goes through all these changes. What we experience as life and death are just phases, not changes to our real self.
Okay, so that brings up a really big question, doesn't it? If we're all these eternal conscious sparks, why do we suffer? Why do we feel so limited and, separate from everything? What's the deal with that? The answer, according to this philosophy, comes down to a concept called Maya. This is the external energy of the Supreme, and it has this really incredible dual role in how everything works.
So it's really easy to just think of Maya as illusion, but it's so much more than that. On one hand, it's the powerful divine energy that literally builds the entire physical universe, but it also has this other job. It covers up the soul's true knowledge, making us forget who we are and identify with our temporary bodies instead. That's what creates that feeling of separation and gets us stuck.
This actually gets into a huge debate in Vedanta philosophy. Is the world we live in real? The Paramatma Sandarbha takes a clear stance called Parinamavada. This means the world is a real transformation of divine energy, kind of like how milk really turns into yogurt. The yogurt is a real thing. It's not the other view, where the world is just an illusion, like seeing a snake in a rope. So the bottom line here is, the world is real, but it's temporary.
So here's the predicament, the cosmic trap, if you will. The eternal soul, the jiva, gets influenced by Maya and forgets its real identity. It gets all tangled up in this temporary world, mistaking its ups and downs for its own, and this is what fuels that whole cycle of birth and death.
Okay, so we've got the individual soul, the jiva, and this powerful material energy, Maya. But where do they come from? The text traces both of them back to a single, absolute source for everything.
And this is where we get to the central concept of the whole book, Paramatma, the supreme self. Paramatma is the ultimate absolute reality. Everything, all the countless individual souls, the jivas, and the entire material energy, Maya, everything flows from this one supreme origin.
And the text even lays out this kind of cosmic management structure. At the top is Paramatma, as Vishnu, who is the supreme source that sustains everything. From that source, Brahma gets the power to do the creating. and Shiva is described as a transformation of Paramatma that handles the destruction or dissolution of the cosmos.
And this isn't just an interpretation. The text is really clear about this. It says directly that the Supreme Person, the Purusha, becomes Vishnu to sustain the universe and becomes Rudra or Shiva for the purpose of destruction.
But wait a second. How can something that's absolute and unchanging create a world that's always changing? It sounds like a paradox, right? Well, the text uses another great analogy. It compares Paramatma to a philosopher's stone. The stone can turn iron into gold, but the stone itself isn't changed at all. In the same way, Paramatma creates and runs the entire universe through his energies, but he himself remains completely unchanged and transcendent.
All right, we have the map. We know about the self, the world, and the ultimate source. So, what's the way out? How does the soul get untangled from Maya and reconnect with Paramatma? What's the path home?
The path, the solution, is something called bhakti, unconditional devotion. And this is a huge point in the text. It actually calls bhakti the fifth and ultimate goal of life, placing it even higher than the usual goals of wealth, pleasure, duty, and even liberation, or moksha. See, just being liberated is kind of a neutral state. Bhakti is a positive, dynamic, loving relationship with the source.
This chart here really breaks it down nicely. It shows that who you worship and how you worship completely changes the outcome. According to this, worshiping Brahma or Shiva can get you some material things or a delayed kind of liberation. Worshipping Vishnu or Paramatma can get you good things and liberation too, but it is only pure, unconditional devotion to Vishnu that gets you bhakti, the ultimate goal.
So what's the payoff? What happens when you reach this state? This quote tells us, "The soul attains a nature and qualities just like the Supremes. You're free from the cosmic cycle. No more birth at creation, no more distress at destruction." And here's the really interesting part. You achieve this divine status while still remaining an individual.
And that leaves us with a final, massive thought to chew on. The Paramatma Sandarbha gives us this incredible vision of a totally interconnected reality. Every single one of us, every spark of consciousness, and even the fabric of the material world itself, all comes from one supreme conscious source. If we really took that map seriously, how would that change the way we look at our own lives?